Avonte Maddox departs the Eagles, is now going to sign a one-year deal with the Detroit Lions. This one's kind of weird to me. I'm not sure what we're doing here other than obviously getting really deep. But it's kind of weird because his girlfriend or his significant other last season said that she thought Maddox was going to be a Detroit Lion last year. But we'll get into that in just a second. Let's see what the Eagles wire's talking about here. So Avonte Maddox's time is over in Philadelphia. The former Eagles cornerback is now headed back home. That's right. He is a former Detroit guy. Back home to Detroit to play for the Lions. Now, Maddox was cut last offseason, and then he re-signed a one-year deal with the Eagles. The veteran corner then started the first 4 games in the slot, but was replaced by Cooper DeJean. And that was during the Week 5 bye, and then he played in a reserve role the rest of the season. Now, he did win a Super Bowl last year, right? He did get a Super Bowl ring, so congratulations to Maddox. And, you know, the good part about bringing guys like this in is they're cut from the cloth that Brad wants, right? These guys have been through it. They've been through the dogfight. They've been through a full season of what it takes to get all the way to the Super Bowl and then win it. And the way that they played, the way that defense played, I think is going to come out in this guy, right? He's going to be able to show some of the guys on this team, especially some of the younger guys, just what it's going to take from body prep, game prep, taking care of your body after the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Maddox signed a one-year contract, like Jeff McClain here is saying, and then per his agent, Jason Shayut, I think is how you say his name, is who has reported this. So Maddox finished 24 season with 20 tackles, 9 solo, also added 5 passes defensed in the regular season. He played in all 17 regular season games. He also did get in the Super Bowl, and we'll kind of go over some of his stats locally here. Not much really being said differently other than the one-year deal for Maddox. Now, he's from the Detroit area. He played for Detroit King High School, or attended Detroit King High School. He was a 4th-round pick out of Pittsburgh of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018, and then spent the last 7 seasons in Philly, winning this past season's Super Bowl as a backup nickel. So Lions adding another nickel behind Amik Robertson. Is there something going on there? Or is this just camp stuff, right? But another 5'9" guy. Another 5'9" guy. Another smaller frame. Rock Ya-Sin, 6 foot, 195. Maddox, 5'9". Amik, 5'9". DJ Reed, 5'9". Interesting by Brad Holmes. Remember, this is the guy, Brad Holmes, who says he knows really good corners when he sees them. He's a really good judge and evaluator of corners. So if he believes in this guy, then I think that we have every right to kind of believe in him too. He's been in the league for 7 seasons, so I think he's proven himself. So we'll throw the size out the window and just make sure that we pay attention to how he does this offseason. This is what his girlfriend said, or his significant other. I told Avonte at the beginning of last season that I knew he'd end up at the Lions next season. He looked at me like I was crazy because out of all of the teams in the NFL, how could I be so sure? Now, honestly, I was sure because I knew it would be best for us. And when I say something's going to happen and I believe it fully, 9 times out of 10, it happens. Yes, I have superpowers, says Iman Williams. Posted this on the IG. I would implore you to check out this lady's IG, straight gas. Pretty cool pictures in there. Not sure where she's from. Don't know anything about her, but hey, she predicted this guy was going to end up a Detroit Lion. So let's take a look at our depth chart. Okay, so right now, if you take a look at the depth chart here, we're going to have this slot filled right here behind Robertson, Rakestraw, and then it'll be Maddox. Now, playing nickel, maybe we might see a little bit of a different defense in Detroit. Maybe they're going to do something a little different that would involve more DBs on the field. It could happen. Not sure that it will happen, but it could, right? Maybe we're going to be in the nickel a lot more, which is going to require 5 DBs, and that's why the Lions are making sure that they bring in enough guys. Maybe they're still going to draft one. Brad Holmes clearly isn't done finding guys. He's going to find the best 90 guys he can possibly find to fill up this camp and make sure that we have plenty of competition. Let's take a look at his grades. Let me fix this a little bit. Some of these pages just don't like to cooperate with each other. Okay, so last year, overall, he had a 56.3. I mean, not the greatest of grades, but there were some things that I noticed in his stats that I did like. For instance, let's get into these grades. I know this might be tough for you guys to see, but at the very bottom, you see this number right here, 51.7? He only allowed a 51.7 completion percentage when targeted. He was targeted 29 times. Receivers only caught 15 balls. That's pretty solid, right? Missed tackling. You're going to notice something about this guy. 4.8 missed tackling. Look at his tackling grades right here in the middle. All in the green, except for one game here in week 4. But all in the green. Every game that he played in, this guy is near elite as a tackler. So I think that that's box check number 1 for Brad Holmes. You have to be a good tackler. Number 2 is run defense. Yeah, he's kind of there, right? Anything above 60 is okay. I love to see it above 70. But, I mean, not terrible. I've seen worse, trust me. But this is what I really enjoyed right here, looking at the last few weeks of the season. He just got better and better and better and better than the Super Bowl. He only had 7 snaps. I know it's kind of tough to see over there off to the left. But he only had 7 snaps, 9 snaps overall in the Super Bowl, 5 of which were cover. He had 2 against the run defense, 7 total. So 7 total, my apology. 84.7 grade, 82.8 in coverage. That's what you like to see. I mean, you're going up against the best of the best in the Super Bowl. Clearly, that's when you want to have your best game. So, Avonte Maddox, welcome back to Detroit. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts and comments. Obviously, below, what do you think about the signing? Camp competition is going to be at another level this year. I think that we could say goodbye to Emmanuel Moseley. That experiment has that ship has sailed. The experiment is done. Thank God. If he would have brought Emmanuel Moseley back, I probably would have flipped the lid. Those types of things I just can't stand. That's about the only thing I dislike about Brad Holmes and what he's done is too many injured guys that have been injured and then get injured when you bring them in and then you keep them around. That one, burning up a roster spot right there is way worse than anything Broderick Martin's ever done, right? So what do you guys think about the signing? Let's see here. Full Slate says, I was hoping for that breaking news would have been a big guy on either side of the line. Keep dreaming, man. It's not happening. It's just not. It's not happening. In the draft, we'll have plenty of breaking news on draft day. I promise. I promise. What's Maddox's injury history? All right, let's pull it up. Good question. Great question. Here we go. Oh, this one's actually not bad. All right, so this is what we're looking at. Unknown risk. Chance of injury in 2025 is nil because his durability is just fine. Now, his history so far in 2020, he had a pedal ankle sprain, pretty common. Grade 2, missed 3 games. Pretty common for a corner. And then again in December, he had a knee patella sprain. Again, pretty common for corners to have those kinds of things. Was placed on IR. Missed 3 games again that season. That was the end of the year, so he probably missed the rest of the season at that point. But since then, nothing. Not a darn thing. Pretty durable. So great question. Absolutely great question. I can't say that I'm, overly excited, but I do like the fact that we're bringing in a guy that has significant time in the NFL, has played on a winning caliber ball club that just recently won a Super Bowl, and bringing in those attitudes, right? Those types of guys that know how to play. And like I said earlier, they just went through it, and they're going to be able to communicate to these guys what it's going to take to get it done. Not to say that, some of the guys don't already understand that, but that was Carlton Davis last year. right? Carlton Davis last year won a Super Bowl in 2020. Was it 2020 or 2020? It was 2020. So he was the most recent guy that won a Super Bowl, in the room that I remember, at least for the DB room, that could communicate to these guys what it's going to take from their perspective. And, maybe there's something that he's going to be doing different, he being Kelvin Shepherd, with this defense that is going to enable these corners to communicate a little bit differently. So I'm intrigued at the style of corner that Brad Holmes is bringing in and the size of the corner that Brad Holmes is bringing in. I guess I don't have a take either way. I'm not sure where he's going with this. DJ Reed makes sense. Terrion Arnold's there. He makes sense. But the rest of the guys, still trying to figure out where they belong or what's going to happen in camp. We're just going to have to be there, right? We're just going to have to be there to figure it out. So anyway, that's it for this breaking news edition. Welcome Avonte Maddox back to Detroit. Again, can't wait to see him at camp. I think this is another good signing by Brad Holmes, finding good quality football players that can come in and help this team win here in 2025. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Go Detroit Lions. Take care. Bye-bye.